tight.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ross Patterson Revolution! Brought to you by BlackRifleCoffee.com. Word up, everybody sang. You don't, What song is that?
I don't know. It makes me uncomfortable, though.
Yeah, it does, right?
Word out.
Yeah.
Everybody in the house.
I remember that
something like
song,
this.
Yeah, being popular as a child at a roller rink. I remember hearing that at a roller rink for some reason. That and
all around the world.
Exactly.
Yeah. What is it?
That and Terrence Trent D'Arby, Wishing Well. Wishing well to kiss and tell. Oh, wishing well.
Yeah.
Why we're into roller rink songs from the 80s or 90s, I don't know.
It's clear.
As children. But I will say this. I just got back from San Antoine.
Mm-hmm.
I recorded a song.
Oh, did you?
Yes, with Mr. Matt Best and Jared Taylor.
Fun.
Yeah, we recorded a song. We went to, you go to these cities and, we've recorded surprisingly a lot of ADR, which is additional voice recording, or in music. And you always end up in a different weird studio in all these cities around the United States because you don't know who has a recording studio open.
You make your calls. You see which one's open.
The guy that we recorded with in San Antonio, I posted a picture of him on my Instagram at STJames, was everything. And he had old pictures up of like Terrence Trent D'Arby and shit like that in his
that
office.
Might have been it.
So I saw, okay, here's what I saw.
Come on, party people. Maybe it's something.
Here's what I saw to start it, right? Because it usually starts with like when you walk into any studio across the nation, they usually lead with whoever the famous people were that walked in, right? Yeah. And they've got pictures either with them or of them, signed headshots, because that used to be a thing back in the day. So major stars used to carry headshots with them. So if they went into a restaurant or, a dry cleaners or whatever, and then everybody would be like, oh my gosh, can you sign something for me? They would sign an old headshot. It was like those old black and white ones. That's why you still see those up places, around the country where you're like, oh, how the fuck did this tiny ass place just suddenly happen to have a headshot that was signed by the actual person?
Yeah.
In this case, when we walked into this studio in San Antonio, there was an old black and white, and I'm saying circa 84 of Janet Jackson. So Janet Jackson was what I walked into.
Okay.
And it was faded. I mean,
sure.
You could hardly see Janet's face.
Right.
She looked like she was in Back to the Future, like she was about to erase.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Like the picture in Back to the Future. Mm-hmm. And it just said, so I leaned down and I read it, and it just said, Sweet Studio, Janet Jackson.
Oh, I love it. Bones, Janet Jackson. Wow.
Yeah, so that led me off, and I was like, man, because they were already, Jared was already in there. So I'm walking now into the studio, and I'm passing by all these things, and it's like, I see a guy with like a bunch of metal bands, like metal hair bands,
Oh, okay.
And I walk into the studio and I'm greeted, and they were like, oh, hey, this is so-and-so. You ever meet somebody that's, when they shake your hand, you stand up and you're like, oh my gosh, did you dress up today? Is this a character?
Okay.
Yes. I thought maybe he knew who we were. And because look, we only record joke shit, obviously, like comedy shit. I thought maybe that was like his fun little thing of like,
I'm a recording studio owner.
Or like, hey guys, I'm here to have fun with you, and like, I'm dressed up and
sure.
and we're gonna have a good time today.
Did you say to him, "Oh, fun costume"?
I was this close.
Okay,
so
I didn't.
No, because I didn't know
Smart.
Until he shook my hand and said, "Hi, I'm so and so," and he was serious, and I was like, "Oh no, we're not we're not joking.
You never know with these drinking bros who's going to show up in what kind of fun little outfit, right?
Well, yes, and because we do that all the time.
Totally.
Like, for example, at one of the movie premieres, Jared and Matt and everybody was like, dude, can we dress up like whatever we want? And I was like,
right.
Does it have to be suits at a premiere on a red carpet and all that stuff? And I said, look, everywhere else, yes, typically. Here, I don't fucking care. You guys are my friends, and I make comedies. Whatever you want to dress up as, you're going to get pictures on Getty Images and all that shit. So, like, do whatever you want, because it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, and it's pretty fucking hilarious.
Right.
So they dressed up as, like, 16th century revolutionary
I remember.
Englishmen. Yeah. Mm-hmm. This guy was, boy, how do I put this? He reminded me of Steve Perry from 1983, the lead singer of Journey. So, black hair with a part in the middle, very Bob Seger. Remember old school Bob Seger, where it was just long black hair with a part in the middle, and it was just kind of feathered out like that?
Yeah.
He had white jeans on that were skin tight. The jeans had zippers by the ankles.
You have to have a little detail in there if it's not true religion.
But here's the thing. So he had black cowboy boots on, like it appeared to be alligator skin or something,
it was alligator
probably
skin or snake.
But it's an alligator skin isn't black, so I don't know what the dyeing process is on that.
There's things that can be done for sure.
Sure. The jeans were unzipped because they were so thin that they didn't fit over the boot.
Oh, yes.
Therefore, he went out of his way to find a pair of white jeans that you had to unzip by the ankles just so the boots would fit over them.
Women's section, yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Then he had one of those really wide collar white shirts on with, look, it's about the size of the collars are about the size of the back of this laptop.
Very word up.
Yeah, word up.
Yeah, very, very platform heel.
And then
on a man.
The closer I got, the hair wasn't real.
Got it. Wig.
Yes, but like a Halloween wig.
Sure.
You know that black hair?
Are you sure?
Dead serious.
Because dyed gray hair sometimes looks like a wig.
Really?
Yes,
I don't know.
It's
this
a
guy
different
had
texture,
a
I
lot
told you.
of hair. And
it was probably all
I don't know. We
white
asked
gray
because I didn't see any gray. Usually you'll see a hint of gray somewhere, because you can't cover up everything. I didn't see any of it. All of us were like, that is a Halloween wig, and that's it.
Sure.
And we, the hard thing is you're there for, I think we were there for, 5-6 hours or whatever it was. I had to catch a flight in the middle of it. So those guys stayed longer.
Maybe they figured some shit out.
I don't know.
When you left.
But he was definitely a guy who's been running under the blades at some point in his life.
No, we're not. That wasn't your time.
Yeah. No,
that wasn't the time.
It was.
Quit trying to slip running under the blades into conversation with me.
He was under the blades, James.
No.
At some point in his life, he was under the blades. I don't know what for or whatever, but anyways, so the weirdest part about all of this is I thought it was going to be, his studio was very nice. I mean, really nice. We were just like, all right, shit. Congratulations. You're like you've made it, I guess,
yeah.
Shit. It was a crazy nice studio. And I've been in a million across the United States. You name it. I've been in a shitty studio. This was a really nice studio. That was one. Two, the guy was like ridiculously professional. So if I had to go back to another studio in San Antonio again, which I probably will,
right?
Because working with Black Rifle Coffee so much, he'd be the first call again.
Sure.
And you could not have told me that when I walked in the room and shook this guy's hand. There's no way you could have said that. Hey, you'll be back here again.
You're trying to tell me he didn't seem true to this? I mean, if you look like that, you've been in it for a long time.
I guess, but it's the manner in which he took... It's the seriousness in which he took this song that I was just like, man, we are singing a song about a girl's pussy. I mean, that is in the thing.
And he was like...
Dead serious. Like we were recording, Don't Stop Believing.
We Are the World.
Yeah, exactly. We Are the World. Exactly. So it was just like, oh man, drums would be great here. Piano would be great. Let me plug this in. He had an assistant They were running around. Like that was one of the most high quality productions studio time I've been a part of, where I was just like, shit. I mean, it was incredible. But if you saw this guy, and again, peep on over to my Instagram at STJamesSTJames to check this out. You'll be like, there's no fucking way this is real, Ross. None of what you're saying is real. You're a ridiculous human, and you're being ridiculous on the show. No, this is a real person, and I had to get a photo. And it was one of those things where I waited till the end of the night. I recorded a bunch of shit that was funny, and I knew like he was kind of on my side. And I didn't want to just pop in and be like, hey, I'm making fun of you by taking a photo. I wanted a photo on the way out, of like, sure. Hey, thanks for working with me today. I really appreciate it.
Can I get a pic?
I need to show the world this guy because it
your greatness, your majesty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Cocaine cool is what I described him as on my Instagram. Totally. Where you're just like, oh, all right. You're cool.
Totally. A real cocaine cowboy.
Yeah. To the point where like I slid it in conversation. More, much like Under the Blades.
Sure, much like the smoothness.
Yeah. Where I was just like, man, because I'm looking around, he's got all these pictures, and he had gold tapes, which I've never seen before. Usually music producers put up gold albums or, platinum albums. There was a couple cassettes that were gold.
I think that's standard. No, I mean, well, that's old school. No, I don't know.
I don't know when the transition was from albums to tapes, and if that's what they did, that's what they did, and that's fine. But when I saw a gold tape, I was like, oh, is that and a lot of them were in the bathroom. So when you went into the bathroom, I would say, because it was a fairly decent sized bathroom, I would say there was 20 to 30 framed gold or silver or platinum albums in the bathroom.
Okay. Well, that's when you know you have a lot, right?
I know.
When you can throw them in the bathroom.
I know. So
just put a couple Oscars in the bathroom.
Yeah. Either or, man. What a fucking wild day. Just the wildness of it. And then I go to I record this song. I'm shocked by this whole sitch. I get in an Uber. It's, airport's like maybe 10 minutes away. I get in, and then immediately TSA has their hand on my dick in 5 minutes.
And just brings you right back down.
Yeah. I was on a high.
Yeah.
I was riding a high, and then boom, I got my dick touched by TSA again. This is the first time I offered to go, because he's like, do you have anything in your pockets? Do you have any belts? Do you have any, I go, I have nothing. I go, I tell you what, because that was the second time it had happened to me, way out and way back in. I go, how about I just take off my jeans and go through in boxers? I offered it. Because I go, I don't care at this point. I am tired of you grabbing my fucking dick.
And they're all not getting a paycheck, so I'm sure they're super into dealing with all of that.
Yeah. So I was like, hey, let's cut out the middle, man. How about I just take off my jeans? That way, you for sure can't say a goddamn thing that there's anything else on me at that point. And I don't care. Like, I'll roll through in boxers. So that's where we're at. I think I'm just going to do it on the next flight.
Because you felt like after that recording sesh that you should get in like a
VIP.
Or like,
I'm on top of the world.
What are those planes that they would smuggle drugs over to?
Yeah.
Those little
Cessnas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You thought, I need to get on one of those.
Cocaine cool. Yeah.
Right?
Hell yeah.
And cocaine cowboy it.
Yeah.
Back home.
Yeah.
That's how you were feeling.
It was.
Boom.
I was on a high, and then boom, just back to reality.
I have to say, let's not talk shit about the TSA right now.
Because they're not getting paid.
I mean,
is it weird that I'd rather the plane blow up than to get my dick grabbed again? I know.
What?
I know. I'm so over it.
You're being dumb.
I'm so over it.
You're being dumb.
At the studio too. Like, I asked the guy, I go, I bet you've seen a lot. I bet you've seen a lot in your day. I was like, and like jokingly, because I felt like we were in with him, and I go, I bet you've seen a lot. I bet you're holding right now. And he goes, let's take it back to one, guys.
Right,
and I was like, whoa.
He was.
I don't know if he was or he wasn't, but what I know is I wasn't offered any. And that one was that sealed the deal of like, hey, we're not the bros that I thought we were.
Oh, okay.
So he was still cooler than me, and he held that over me. So as much as I want to make fun,
sure,
he outbroed me. I got outbroed.
He big timed you.
Yeah,
he got big time.
He outbroed me, and then the next thing you know, dong getting, wrapped around at TSA.
Why'd you do like this?
That's what they do now.
Oh.
So they really go through everything. They go inside the pants now. Do you know that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't been outside the house in 2 years. I've been held captive. Help me.
By a baby. By a small baby.
He won't let me leave. I'm disheveled.
Stop crying.
That gal from Wisconsin, huh? They found. Oof. That's how I look.
God.
On a normal day.
What a crazy story that is, man.
I feel like there's more to it. How are you feeling? Do you know it?
I do know the story.
Okay, so for everyone at home, it's like the Kloss gal from Wisconsin. Parents got killed, and then she was missing.
Yes.
My first thought is, she had some weird older boyfriend. They killed the parents, and now they're together somewhere.
Well, they found her.
They found her and him.
Him, yeah.
He's under arrest, obviously, but gosh, the balls. If that's really all it is for this 21-year-old guy to want to kidnap this girl so bad.
Yeah, that he's going to kill her parents.
That he's going to kill the parents and not take her that far away.
Right.
An hour maybe?
Yeah.
From her house in a cabin that all can be traced to him and all of it.
Yeah, I'm going to reserve judgment on this one because I think you could be right. But it's one of those. If
you can't say. I know I can't say.
I can't make that call because if it turns out to be the other way, then that's.
But here's the other thing.
Fucking awful story.
If there was like Facebook messages or texts on the phone or
they're
things,
gonna find
they would have found it already.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they would have. They've been on the Facebook. If it was just the phone, I guess they'll find out whatever. But my God, that type of crazy. People always wonder why I give a shit or to even think about serial killers, but it's that kind of crazy and the balls of that and the singular focus of it that's insane to me that you can't even fathom doing. There's some defend yourself, killing somebody because blah 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 whatever that you can kind of wrap your head around,
right? And
then there's some that's right?
Yeah.
So that's what's fascinating to me. I don't like the crime. I think it's awful, right? But you have to think gosh, this guy with no provocation whatsoever went into a house, killed this girl's parents, and took her an hour away to a cabin.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
Crazy. It's a weird story. I'm curious to see how this shakes out because, as more and more details emerge from, you're right, text messages or just Facebook or whatever it is, what
connection he must have had, even if he's just been in the house before. I don't know. I don't know. How did he... all of the details I'm fascinated to know. And I'm glad that she is found. But also that's what I look like on a daily basis. It's the disheveled, matted hair, the shoes that are too big for me.
Sure, you look like you've been kidnapped.
It looks like I've been held captive in a cabin for 2 weeks. Okay. A month, 2 months, however long. I think she was 2 months. Look, I'm fascinated about the details, yet I don't know any of them, right?
Well, James,
I'm fascinated to know.
It's not, you don't have a computer. You don't own any electronics.
I don't have any way of knowing. It's all just speculation in my head.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah. Well,
how fun is that? You know what I mean? You think of stuff and you work it all out in your brain with no fact checking whatsoever.
None.
It's super fun. You should try it. You're always right. You always end up being right.
Oof.
Because the internet's a scary place for me. I go into weird rabbit holes.
Oh yeah.
That's why I don't get on it.
What's your rabbit hole these days?
Remember Y2K?
Yeah, that was your last one, huh? I really got you.
I like to revisit insanity. The last one was Michael Jackson, where the R. Kelly brought that up for me.
Sure.
Something else.
So Y2K is where your head goes immediately.
Now I've gone into a remembering Y2K and how crazy and stupid we all were. And I don't know if I got caught up in the fun of it, but I don't know if I really thought.
What did you do that night of Y2K? Because everybody else had giant parties and all this shit. I know where I was. Where were you?
Yeah, there was like a rave or something in Santa Barbara up in the hills.
Okay. And that's where you were for?
That's where I was, yeah.
Gotcha. What were you had to win what, just out of high school then?
I had just graduated, yeah.
Yeah.
If not yet.
Did you think
I didn't quite graduate, yeah.
Okay.
But
did you think you were going to die?
No. You know, I have so much trust and faith in like the government and stuff. Too much.
Yeah.
To where I'm just like, they'll work it out. I'm always just like, they'll work it out.
Sure.
I never think that anything bad is going to happen.
Right.
In the end.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
And when it didn't, I was like, well, see?
Yep.
They figured it out.
Yeah, they
got a couple zeros in the thing, and it's like, what'd you think was going to happen? Do you remember that? What'd you think? There were people like, I mean, full on. I mean, selling insurance, moving into doomsdayers, like...
Yeah. There was one guy who solved Y2K.
One guy? I'm sure.
Let me... since you don't have a working computer.
Mine is not working. It was one guy that solved it. I just remember, like, all the craziness. All the, like... people selling like pet insurance, and I mean, they thought we were all going to die.
Yeah, there was a guy on Time magazine that he was the guy who solved Y2K. Fuck was his name?
I think I liked it a little bit. Did you like it kind of?
Yeah.
Like the craziness of it? And the doomsdayers loved it. So there was a group, a subculture of people that were so into it that they were like, this is our time. We told you. We told you. All this crazy stuff that we've been doing. Now it's going to really pay off.
Yeah. Looking at Time magazine on the cover of 1999, there's a guy who appears to be Jesus holding a cross, walking through the streets of an apocalyptic world that just says the end of the world. Y2K insanity. Apocalypse now. Will computers melt down? Will society? A guide to millennium madness.
Yep.
And I mean, they were really scaring the shit out of everyone.
Oh, it was insane.
Yeah.
Wasn't it crazy?
Yeah. And they ended up getting like all these one guy ended up getting all these young programmers together to solve it.
Yeah.
I genuinely,
they worked it out.
I was, because of the news and like I didn't understand. I was too young to understand the media was bullshit and they were just doing this to sell us shit. Right. I just didn't know. Much like kids now, probably, to be honest with you. They
don't know.
All this stupid shit in the media, and you're just like, oh my God.
Possibly. I don't remember there being so many, as far as like adults telling me that the news was fake.
No, because I didn't think they knew.
I think kids
I didn't think they knew. Yeah,
yeah.
You trusted the news back then. And we shouldn't have, obviously.
Well, they did work it out. It's fine.
They did. But, God damn it, man. I remember, I was in Miami on New Year's Eve that night. And
you really must go.
Balls off.
You really must go.
Fucking blast. But we had blown it out specifically because it was 2000, and we were caught up in the shit of like, all right, if this is it, let's just go to Miami and fucking tear it down. And I remember us being in a hotel room watching, because Australia is always the first one to go, and you're watching. All of us were sitting around the TV waiting for the whole thing to like slowly go black, like a Jake Gyllenhaal movie. You know, what was the one in New York with him and Quaid?
The one in New York with him and Quaid.
You know, the Statue of Liberty froze over and all that other fucked up shit.
With Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah.
Everybody knows it.
I think it's called The End of the World.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Go ahead. Everybody knows it. I don't even need to say it.
So we were waiting for the power grids to start slowly going out.
Oh yeah, that's what everyone thought.
The end of the world.
And then chaos immediately.
Yeah. So nothing happened. The next one was London. You know, they always televise, or Saudi Arabia, or where the fuck it is. And nothing happened. And so that night, it was just like, well, maybe it's just the computers in the United States.
Very anticlimactic, wasn't it? You're like, yeah, maybe. Sort
of. I remember when the ball dropped, you know, at midnight, the club we were at, and probably every club around the world, you know, in the history of clubs, played Prince's 1999.
Right.
2000 body over, it's out of time.
Fucking douchey, dude. Just you douching out in Miami at some club.
I was in my prime.
Did you rip your tee off?
I think it was with Puff Daddy, to be honest with you.
Oh, were you? We're not even gonna go.
Did I rip my T-shirt off? Of course I did.
Of course you did.
At some point in that
evening.
Did
you whip it around?
I like a helicopter? Yeah, like Petey Pablo?
Yeah, obviously.
Probably at some point. I was shirtless at some point. Proud of it.
Sure.
But I remember walking out, I think, because the clubs closed at like 5 in Miami or something crazy. I walked out at like 5 and the sun's starting to, you know, peek out.
Ooh, that makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, but it was warmer in Miami too. So you were just like,
even worse.
You were looking around. I remember looking at the streets and you know, people were jogging and whatnot, getting ready to start their day. What? And that's when I realized, nothing happened and we're still in the real world and everything's going to be fun. So that's when it finally
and you had a mimose
set in.
You had a quick mimose.
Yeah.
And you were I am good to go. And you said, come here, hombre. And you started dancing with some little roller skating twink.
You bet.
Come here, hombre.
Yeah.
Mi amigo.
Yeah.
We're gonna live. And you're just like still totally rolling your balls off.
Do you think you're better off alone?
Yeah. Singing it a cappella.
And
twirling around.
That's when I knew I was like,
you.
That's when I knew I was just like, shit, we're back in the real world. Now what? And, you know, slept for a good 12, 15 hours or whatever that was after that bender, obviously.
Sure.
Got up and, you know, started reading the paper and, you know, they had credited to this one guy and it was a miracle. It came down to the last minute day or whatever to solve Y2K. I don't know if, looking back, I don't know if any of that was true. I don't know if one single thing of that Y2K story was true.
I think maybe a little bit, but I think it was basically solved on the path to being solved way before the hysteria.
Right.
But it was like, if we don't get the last little, you know, they worked on the banks first. They got that. And then they sort of worked out glitches. Yep. And they had been working on it for a long time. And we kind of found out on the tail end, I think, as it got closer, that they were even doing this.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think that's what in the deep dive a little bit, I saw that they had been working on it for that whole year.
Huh.
And we didn't really know. They were just going to fix it, right?
Yeah.
And then somebody found out that we were like trying to fix it.
Yeah.
And do you remember the Rapture? Were you in LA? You were in LA for the Rapture.
I was in LA. I didn't subscribe to.
I didn't either, but I really, it was
good.
Me neither. And, you know, LA is a godless heathen place, right? Nobody's going to church out there. Let's be real. So it was fascinating to me that even out there was a twinge, like we were at the bars or whatever for Rapture Day, and there was even a twinge of like, is it?
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah, you really believe that, huh?
No, not me, but I'm saying like...
Seems like you did, James.
Was there like 1 second of like, would that be nuts if like the person I'm talking to just got sucked up? But you know, like your rational mind is like, that is never, ever going to happen.
Can't even entertain that.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, you didn't go to a Rapture party, like just for fun or whatever? It's the same kind of deal. Okay.
No, we did not. I could not allow myself to.
It was kind of fun to go on the ride a little bit because you knew nothing bad was going to happen. So it was kind of funny to see it around you a little bit. Mm-hmm. And in the same way where people are like, there's no way. I mean, there's no way, right? Right? You know? And as the drinks start flowing more, the dumber people start to really get a little bit scared. That was fun.
I think Clayne and I were at Powerhouse drinking, you know, $2 PBRs and shots of whiskey.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen. one year you're in Miami. The next, no, I'm joking.
No, I just because we used to go to there was a dive bar called Powerhouse. We used to go there all the time because I didn't want to be around a Rapture party or people who did want to believe in the Rapture. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Where was I? I was somewhere in Los Feliz.
Powerhouse was the place where I think I told you this. We were shooting sketch there for Funny or Die, Clay and I, and it was like, I think 11 a.m. or whatever, and it was on St. Patrick's Day we were shooting.
Right.
10, 11 a.m. in the morning, and we expected there to be nobody in there, and it was actually like, I don't know, 4 or 5 people at the bar, and they were drinking really just older men drinking or whatever, and this sketch required some shots, so we had to buy a bunch for the shot we were getting. And then afterwards, I was like, hey, I'm just going to we'll just give them to these guys, you know? Mm-hmm. I don't feel like pounding 10 shots at fucking 10 a.m. And so I gave these shots to these guys, and I was like, hey, guys, happy St. Patrick's Day. You know, enjoy it. All of them looked over at me, and they were like, St. Patrick's Day? Yeah. Oh, shit. You guys are just here because it's Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. And I was like, oh fuck. That's the type of joint Powerhouse was.
And I used to love, they didn't card me. So there was a couple places in LA that El Compadre was a place I could get in before I was 21. Yeah. And this place called Café des Artistes, which is gone now, but it was very French to the point where they don't card you out there. So it was like the people were fresh off the boat, the waiters and stuff. Yeah. So they weren't carding you. It's not in their like, DNA to like card. They never do. So they were just like, oh, you look 16. That's all you have to be in my world, right? Where I'm from.
Yeah.
So Powerhouse was one of the places. Do you remember when Powerhouse turned? It was that, and how sad was that?
Well,
it was still the same velvet paintings. It was still the same stuff, but
half of it
walked in and it was just different. Yeah. It's like maybe that was the moment that I got older or something. But there was a bunch of young people in there, and it was real weird.
Actually, I'm gonna save this story actually for the revolutionary figure of the day, because something popped up on a plane where I downloaded some shit to read on the plane. And one story that described my entire young 20s life in LA popped up in Hollywood Reporter. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, I wrote this person and just said, thank you for this time in my life. But I'll get to it. I'll save her for the revolutionary figure of the day.
Okay.
It's a really, really good one that I was just like, man, it was great. It was great. So I'm glad you brought this up on accident, because that was going to be my revolutionary figure of the day. We have sponsors though. Because we have a big show. We have sponsors. You and I just keep fucking chatting.
I had one more.
By the way, the sponsors have never complained. We'll save it for right after. The sponsors have never complained that we go this late. But who cares? So, hey, first and foremost, blackriflecoffee.com. I was at the BRCC headquarters for all of last week in San Antonio. We shot a bunch of cool fucking videos and content and all that shit. Just want to let everybody know there is a new Instructor Earl video coming out. Really, really fucking funny. And it was a really fun shoot for the day. We were at this ranch all day, and it was amazing. And these guys, by the way, live this life. So they brought the coffee. Like Edwin was up there making coffee, still the freshest and most amazing coffee.
Lucky.
Right out of the thing.
Out of the thing.
I don't know what the fuck those things are called. But here's what I find interesting about those guys. So if you want to take my secondhand knowledge or advice of whether or not these guys know their fucking coffee, here's the story behind them. This is genuine. Every time we go and shoot somewhere, wherever the fuck it is we are, they bring somebody to make the coffee, and there is no sugar, no half and half, no milk, no nothing.
Did you die?
I did. Where I was just like, what the fuck, dude? I don't drink straight coffee. And they were like, they're coffee. They called them purists. They were like, we're coffee purists. We don't fucking get down on that shit. And I was like, look, for anybody watching the video show on YouTube, which you should subscribe to, I like my coffee about the color of this desktop.
Right.
For real. I don't like it black. I like it a nice Jennifer Lopez color where it's just, all right, cool. It's tan. I like my coffee tan. That's how much shit is in it. I like creamer and, and these guys do not. They are coffee purists, and they are doing tastings all throughout the day. Like there was Evan's assistant was running in and out with different like little 2-ounce professional white cups of like, try this, try this, try this, try this.
Oh my God, I love that.
And it had hints of vanilla or whatever. I don't know if you would like. I mean, it's first of all, it's really strong. You like shit in your coffee too, right?
Oh, a little bit. Yeah.
So that it is different.
But it's only because I'm, using a K-cup and not really. If I don't know if you do it the real pour over style,
sure.
Grounding the beans fresh right before you pour the hot water over. Yeah. I don't know how I would feel about that because I don't do it every day.
Gotcha. Look, they do sell the the pour over and the kits and all that stuff on Black Rifle Coffee. So if you want to do that, the grinders, the hand grinders and all that stuff, if you want to do that, go to blackriflecoffee.com, or you can get K-cups or bags and blends. But I can tell you this, that is no bullshit across the board. They're testing out blends all the time. Like I probably tried 6 or 7 when I was there.
Real deal. And if you don't know that by now, you better figure it out.
BlackRifleCoffee.com, promo code Revolution, 20% off. Use it on the Coffee Club of the Month program. It just gets shipped to your house on the same date of every month.
I think people don't I don't know about taking them seriously, but there is so many people in the space and they are like veteran owned and it's Black Rifle, but please be real. I mean, this is hipster stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, this is hipster level.
100%.
Serious
coffee.
Serious coffee. They're not just...
It's not like a rebagged, like, hey, fuck it.
Which most of the other people in the space are doing.
Are doing. And
by the way,
these guys are always trying out different... I mean, and they have like world-renowned people working for them who make the fucking coffee every day where you're just like, Jesus Christ.
They're just also rad, badass people. So it's like, it's hard to kind of
weird.
Reconcile.
Yeah. But look, I'm there a lot, so I see it firsthand, and it's just like, all right, cool. I'm still the asshole, though, who asked for a creamer. I
figure it out.
And at this ranch we were shooting at, you got to see it. It was, it was awesome. It was like preserved from like the 70s or something.
I have to go to the ranch, by the way, next time you go.
It's great. It's
amazing.
It's really, really great. But the only thing that I could find to put in my coffee was like a box of sugar from like the Brady Bunch days, where I was just like, and everybody's like, dude, you're going to use that? And I was like, I have to. So if I die, I die. Now, I was like Drago. If I die, I die on this one. Luckily, I was all right, but I gotta have something in my coffee.
Were they all just like side-eyeing you?
Oh, yeah, everybody was just like, what the fuck, bro? And I was like,
loser.
I don't give a shit. I'm having this right now, and you can go fuck yourself. Next up, we got ghostbed.com/drinking bros.
That's a ghost.
Oh, that is a ghost.
That's a ghost.
Sleep so good, it's scary. Isn't it?
It is.
Real scary.
Yeah, it's even better when you do it by yourself.
I know.
If you can get your spouse out of the room, you will sleep so much better on that ghost bed. What?
I know.
No, I'm joking.
I know.
No, I think it's time. I think it's time to move back in.
You think so?
Yeah.
Is the sleep training over for the baby?
Doesn't matter. Okay. You're going to deal with it.
All right. I'm in.
The door keeps opening in the room.
Yeah.
I'm listening to murder. Need you back in the room.
Yeah. Look, I'm in. Because we got to
air our whole shit.
I think though you have to, like when somebody like, look, I work a lot. Your sleep training, the monitors next to your head. The monitors now are too good where it's just like, you're
every
seeing,
little peep.
Jesus Christ, like, you're seeing everything. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's the like turning on of the bright light and
you're sleeping so well on a ghost bed that sometimes I'll have to wake you up of like, hey, the child is screaming.
It's sad.
Yeah. That's how great the beds are.
But it's sad.
The deals are amazing right now. They're still offering that $7.99 off a bundle package right now. It's a one-time gig. Get on it, man, because it's the fucking best on the planet. And
come on,
train and ride it. Also, 36 months, no interest, pay-as-you-go program. If you're looking to get a mattress, now is the time. They can't keep doing that forever.
I'd buy anything if it was 36.
Same here.
I mean, anything.
Same here. Go to
ghostbed. It's a ghost bed, even better.
.com/Drinking Bros. Mattress, $300 off, and free pillows, too, also right now. The pillows are Almost as good, almost better than the goddamn mattress. Big fans of them, love them. Can't say enough nice things about them. Next up, we got StrikeForceEnergy.com.
Boom, 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 boom. Should like her. People love when we sing.
We sing a lot. Strikeforce Energy Drinks is the premier energy drink in the biz. 4 amazing flavors, talking about orange, lemon, orange, and Make America Grape Again. 10-pack, 40-pack, 750 milliliter bottle. Kick the can. You don't need the can anymore. And also, this is the big one. For January, everybody's got their New Year's resolutions and everybody's back in the gym, working out, trying to get in shape. 0 carbs, 0 sugars. It is good for every diet. And look, everybody crashes in the afternoon on all these fucking diets. This will help keep you going. Last longer than 5-hour energy. You're good to go with this shit. In case you just hate drinking water, spice it up with this. I promise you, you're good to go. That's what I do. Been doing it for years. We've been a subscriber to that club for fucking 2 years now at this point. Love Strikeforce Energy. Go to StrikeForceEnergy.com. Promo code Revolution, 20% off. Next up, we got StraightRazors.com.
Ooh, that's a clean cut. Smooth. Oh, you like it?
Oh,
ow!
That was in your own ears today because you're wearing headphones. You're welcome.
Listen.
You are welcome, Jabes. Go to StraightRazors.com for all your shaving needs. Finest, look, somebody else
grooming.
Sent me, hey man, I got my dad a kit for Christmas. He's like, dude, it comes with a leather strap, the whole shit. And I was like, I told you. It's like getting a fucking kit from the 1800s, like Tombstone. It's the best razors you could possibly get. It's not like this bullshit that's out there, man. If you're worried about using a straight razor, use their safety razors. Same. Looks like your razor, except the blade is nicer, and it'll last you longer, man. It takes about a day and a half off your shaving. Their Smolder aftershave is the best on the planet, and I don't even want to get into this mustache wax that I'm using here, but it's the only thing keeping this beast tamed. Go to StraightRazors.com for all your shaving needs to be a real man in this life. I tell you what, if you don't like that bottle of Smolder aftershave, you can punch me right in the gooch. It's the greatest aftershave on the planet. Revolution, 20% off at StraightRazors.com. And as always, you can buy When Darkness Falls, He Doesn't Catch It, and At Night She Cries While He Rides His Steed, the 2 greatest books ever written by the finest author of this or any other generation, Master Antonio Orenthal, James Patterson, and the audiobooks of the Jam, 6.5 hours apiece. If you love me and James, you'll love these even better. We are delivering the magic, and When Darkness Falls, He Doesn't Catch It is number 1 on all of Audible, so everybody can get fucked.
Say what?
Say what? Get fucked.
I come again.
Say what? Get fucked. No. Hey, man.
Beep boop, beep boop, beep boop, boom.
Say what? Get fucked.
We're doing a little ASMR
what you gonna
right
do now? Say what? Get fucked. What were you going to deep dive in? You were about to deep dive into something before I fucking terrorized you with sponsors.
Emotophobia.
Oh, okay. What is that, James?
It's fear of vomiting. And it takes over your life, and it's very common.
You have a fear of vomiting?
No, it's the phobia that it's a phobia that a lot of people have. So it's fear of vomiting.
Okay.
And you live it consumes you with some people where they like avoid any situation
where they might
vomit. And that will go so far as like, if I eat this thing, if I'm around people, I could get sick and vomit. It's like an all-consuming. Yeah,
no. And I appreciate you bringing that up today.
No problem.
I never would have thought about that one single time throughout my entire life.
It's
How
crazy.
do you brought that up? Or if that was even a thing.
It's crazy, huh?
Yeah, I mean, look, that means no roller coasters?
Nothing. I wouldn't be able to go on a plane.
Certain foods, right? I would imagine.
A lot of foods. You're worried about everything you eat. You're worried.
Yeah, you'd never go. You'd never go on a plane.
I'd never go on a plane.
Does that enter your mind every time you get on a plane? That you know you're going to vomit, or are you just like, hey, I'm going to throw up afterwards?
Oh, I'm not afraid of it.
Okay, all right.
Vomit for me is like a good release. Oh
God. Did you just fall off the desk?
Fell off the desk.
Video shows is really why you need to be tuned in.
I was like trying to be like super comfy and cool, and my elbow fell.
You just fell off the desk.
Anyways,
2,
cool,
I didn't know you were wearing a Bourdain shirt.
Oh yeah, remember we talked about it the last time. Ooh.
Yeah, the Bourdain tee.
What do
it's
we do?
Very. Yeah.
See it?
There you go. I see it.
See him?
Yep.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
Anyway,
where does one get that?
I don't know. It popped up on my. Look, your phone's listening to you.
Yes, it is.
That's how you get it. Okay.
It is, yeah.
And thank you, phone.
Yeah.
I am so glad it listened to me and had this pop up on my Instagram feed. Shop now, buy now. You're welcome.
And you bought it.
And and it was good. I was like, you know what? I like this advertising that's geared towards me.
Yeah. Well, you got a nice piece there, Javes.
I like it.
You got a nice piece. I want to talk about one of the top stories over the weekend when I left, and I was like, man, is this a real thing? There was a movie called The Upside, right? With Bryan Cranston and Kevin Hart.
Yes.
Bryan Cranston is a wealthy man who's confined to a wheelchair.
Yes. I think it's quadriplegic.
Yes.
He can just use his head.
Yeah, whatever it is. And this is why I say this, because people didn't bother to care or say what he actually had in these articles. There was people who were offended that it wasn't a real disabled person playing this character.
I'm glad I got out of acting when I did. And I am out of it.
He had to answer these questions over and over.
Who did?
They did it, Bryan Cranston. So they did a huge press junket last week. This was a movie where when I saw the previews, because it looked kind of serious, but it also looked kind of funny too, like a drama, where I couldn't figure out why. Like Cranston's one of the best. I like Kevin Hart. Nicole Kidman is in it. Mm-hmm. I couldn't figure out why this wasn't released during Oscar season. I also couldn't figure out. So then, because it's all based on time slots, right? And it'll be the same with books. Books is the same way. So when Matt's book comes out, it's the same thing where you hope not to get a time slot that like Michelle Obama's book is coming out. Right. You hope not to get a time slot where, a weekend, a box office weekend where like you're not up against Aquaman or something like that. So I looked at this movie and I was like, man, this looks like an awards movie. Is it shitty? Like maybe they just kind of dumped it or whatever. Because the other slot that would make sense to me would be Martin Luther King weekend. So and the reason why is this. Kevin Hart has had a movie out Martin Luther King weekend. I want to say like maybe 5 out of the last 6 years.
And they've killed. He's
sort of owned that weekend, much the same way as Will Smith used to own 4th of July. Remember that?
Oh, okay.
There was always a Will Smith movie out 4th of July. Oh, yeah. Bad Boys, fucking Independence Day, like Men in Black.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Bad Boys 2. Men in Black 2.
Correct. And they're making another Bad Boys, by the way.
And Men in Black, I think, too.
Yeah, but it's different people.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's Men in Black International, and it's all these. It looks like shit to me. Either way, Kevin Hart has kind of owned that weekend, so I was like, wow, I'm surprised he didn't keep going with that because he's had a massive amount of success on that weekend. It came out, it crushed. Bryan Cranston has had to, and which I'm glad it did, because Bryan Cranston all week has had to take heat for a disabled person should have played this, and it's like. Man, these people are actors. Actors. You were pretending to be somebody else always. Who did you want to play that role? Bryan Cranston's the only one that could get this movie probably financed.
Did they offer up any names?
No. Huh. So that not one single person was offered up.
Okay.
But there was a bunch of people who were just like, this, we should be finding disabled actors and I'm like, man, are we really there? Because if we are,
I can't do that.
That's all that. I mean, that is everybody's job. Like, if you're an actor, then what? Are you only supposed to play the race, gender, and physicality of whatever the character is? Then it's not really acting. It's just kind of you. Mm-hmm. You're just kind of playing yourself at that point. And Bryan Cranston is one of our finest actors of all time. In no way, shape, or form should he have had to have apologized for playing this character?
And he's so good that you stupid motherfuckers get confused that it's easy.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people. Kevin Hart makes it look easy. Mm-hmm. Nicole Kidman, easy. It's a breeze to just act, right?
It appears to be, but it's not. It appears
to be. So it's like, why, if it's so easy, why can't we just get the people, pluck them off the street or out of the nursing facility and have them play?
Yeah.
The part. Yeah. Why? Because it's so easy.
It's ridiculous.
You dumb fucking idiot.
And there's so much that goes in it. Like, people are going to see this movie because Bryan Cranston and Kevin Hart are in it. Like, not because the right people are playing nobody gives a fuck and ever is given a fuck whether the right person got the role or not. Like, it doesn't happen. Bohemian Rhapsody is an excellent example. The wrong person was playing that role.
Right.
Nobody gave a shit.
They get...
The audience didn't give a shit. It's made $1 gajillion around the world. Didn't matter because it's an actor who portrayed Freddie Mercury and he did it. Look, appearance-wise and all that other shit, he did the job.
Is he going to win the Oscar?
No, he's not going to win the Oscar.
Okay, good.
But
they threw him the Globe, huh?
Yeah. So
good job.
There was all this heat last week, and I was worried whether or not it was going to affect this movie's box office. It didn't. It opened up at 20 million, and it crushed. And by the way, it got and this is the other part that I was happy to see about it. It got an A cinema score, which is really, really tough to do. So that means all the audiences really love the movie. Critics bashed it. I think critics bashed it for that because it was like, Cranston's playing a fucking fuck you. 1, 2. You don't get an A cinema score out of audiences if your movie isn't good. It's very rare. It's very, very hard to do. So
Bohemian
fuck off,
Rhapsody.
man. Yeah. But
it's hard to do. Look, just on the music alone.
Yeah. So, but fuck off with this. So I was really, really happy to see this happen. And I hope this conversation ends forever with this stupid shit. Like, I'm all done with that.
It's bigger picture that they need to be looking at. And then the other thing is, I would like to hear from someone who is quadriplegic, paraplegic, whatever, if they are offended by it. Or
there were some, yes.
There were.
Yes, on Twitter.
So they were offended that
he
wasn't
that a
really
disabled man wasn't. Yeah.
All right. I mean,
you know what I found interesting
though?
You know what I found super interesting though is nobody went after Eddie Redmayne because it was sort of the same situation where you're confined to a wheelchair and you can only use your head. Nobody went after Redmayne for playing Stephen Hawking. He won a fucking Oscar.
Yeah.
He's not retarded, or is he? There's nothing wrong with him.
I don't think he's straightened back up from playing that role.
Who knows?
I don't think he's gotten full.
But either way, Redmayne didn't take any fucking heat.
Oh, but there's been a million movies up into this new age.
Yeah.
If we want to go back in time,
I'm tired of all of it. When I saw this, because like you could see the unease in both him and Kevin Hart's eyes, because they did all these press junkets together. So all these interviews you had together, and Kevin Hart's been going through his own shit.
Oh, totally. He's just
now,
are you serious?
Bryan Cranston is going through this shit. The two of them, I would have killed to have been a fly on the wall for after the junket ends, because the junket, again, you sit in a hotel room.
They're both real motherfuckers too.
Exactly.
Like Cranston will give it to you. Yeah,
and I worked with Cranston, and he is the coolest guy on the planet.
He will straight up afterwards be like, "What the fuck was that?"
Yes,
dude?
Great guy, just a great fucking dude. Anything you could possibly hope for. Same with Kevin Hart. Great people. I guarantee you, after that junket ends, because again, it's 8 hours. You're in one room, and then everybody from across the world gets 5 minutes with you, and then afterwards you leave. I guarantee you, when everybody left the room, they looked at each other and they'd be like, "Yo, is this really what it is?" Kevin Hart had to apologize 80 million times for a joke in stand-up
8 years ago, 10 years
Bryan
ago.
Cranston's now has to deal with fucking why is not a disabled person playing your role. I bet you the both of them were just like,
it's over.
Fuck this.
They looked at each other and they said, it's over.
Maybe.
It's over.
I don't know, man. But now, and here's the disappointing thing. Now every actor who gets a script, that's going to be going through your mind now as an actor of whether or not you should play this role. Because we did a big show on Scarlett Johansson playing that.
But guess what? That guy's story.
Character.
Now that guy's story is dead.
They're not making
will
that
not
movie.
Be told.
Nope.
Good job. Same thing. I'm sure this is a real guy. They always base these things on books of somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but
I'm not either, to be quite honest with you. But
even if it's not, it brings like a humanity. It brings like light to, these are real. They're real people. They're feeling. I think they have like fun in the movie. They like get to know each other.
Yeah.
He opens up about how it feels to be.
I think this movie looks great. I'm going to see this movie for sure.
And, it's portraying people in this situation in a really good light. So the guy's not a serial killer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And stories like that will help your community, your cause, whatever.
Exactly.
And so the Scarlett Johansson thing, it's like, good job, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And Kevin Hart. Good job.
Yeah.
The Oscars are going to be a big pile of shit. Good job.
Yeah.
Good guy. But
and then to wrap this up, when I started doing more research on this, the reason why it didn't come out on Martin Luther King weekend for Kevin Hart was that movie Glass is coming out.
Oh, yeah.
The M. Night Shyamalan thing, so they didn't want to go up against that and get crushed. And that's why they chose this particular weekend. This is a fascinating project of how hard it was even to get this out. This was a Weinstein movie.
Which one?
This Upside.
Oh.
It was a Weinstein movie that was stuck.
Yeah.
So it was stuck because all that shit happened. They had to sell these titles, and legally that shit takes a long time to work out.
Oh yeah.
And this could have came out earlier, but they needed proper time to promote it. It's the company's. I'm going to say the company STX. And because they ended up number one, it ended up number one movie of the weekend, and they took a gamble on this, bought it from all the Weinstein turmoil. Then they went through the turmoil of this stupid shit in the press, and now it's number one. And congratulations, man. That's awesome. Super stoked to hear about shit like that. The one that I was not so stoked to hear about over the weekend, as far as a new movie coming out, was Coming to America 2. They're making. It has been 30.
I'm offended.
30, not offended, but 31. It's been 31 years.
How bad it's going to be. Yeah.
31 years for a sequel. Eddie Murphy, by the way, there was a picture of him out at dinner the other night with, or at Christmas with all of his family and kids and all that stuff. And
he could jump right back into that costume.
He looks great. Jesus.
Looks great.
That guy. He's just smooth as fucking velvet, that guy.
Oh, not a wrinkle in sight.
Looks amazing. He still looks like Eddie Murphy. Like you could place him back in fucking 1988 again. He looks great. I heard they're going to bring back Arsenio and James Earl Jones and all those guys. But they're making it. They got a director. It's Craig Brewer, who's going to do it.
So Murphy's going to do it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Everybody's signed on, but it's 31 years later. And the reason why I bring this up,
when they're all signed up.
The reason why I bring this up was when we were all together in San Antonio this week, the topic of a Range 15 sequel came up.
Sure.
Of Rescue 16. Look, they had asked me to write this movie back in the day, close to after we finished it, because it was, let's face it, the first one was successful. It was one of the, I think it was the number one independent film of the year in 2016. I wrote that script and I turned it in. I can tell you what day I turned it in because I started writing Matt's book afterwards. I turned it in December 1st of 2016. That script is done. So everybody brought it up of I don't understand why you're making a sequel. The thing came up of, dude, is it too late? Should you have done it immediately? Is this Super Troopers 10 years later?
Right,
Because
right.
what shocked me was, and I don't know if you know this, but do you realize we are 3 years to the day of when we premiered that trailer at Sundance?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Jared reminded me.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, because I was calling him fat.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And he's like, it's been 4 years.
Yeah.
Try something new. I will try something new when you try something new, like a vegetable.
Yeah. 3 years to the day that trailer came out. And I was thinking about it because they were like, look, best case scenario, when you go into production, when would this be out? And I was like, well, you could possibly go into production this fall or winter and get it out in 2020 sometime. But then it would be 4 years since that movie came out. I don't know what that time frame is between sequels of when you should do it or when you shouldn't do it. But 31 years is...
let's not let it get to 31 years, for sure.
But like Coming to America...
4 years? I don't know.
Are you into that these days? Like, I mean, besides for the nostalgia factor, are you into Coming America? Like, I by the way, I love the first one. No. It's one of the greatest comedies of all time. I
personally am not. But if you tell me Bill and Ted is coming back with the same people, and I was on board.
Right.
So I just never was into coming to America.
Okay.
I'm super racist, but no, I'm just joking. I'm totally joking. I just didn't. I think it was before my time a little bit, and then I never went back to watch it.
Gotcha.
But I know that people are super into it, probably the same way that I would be into like Bill and Ted, right?
Sure.
So I don't like the remakes with the all women or different people. That I don't like.
Right.
I like to see the same people coming back.
Well,
and doing a different story. And all of entertainment now, all of big budget entertainment is based on nostalgia. That's just it. They're all just they're like banking on this feeling that people have or need or whatever.
Right.
When they see that moment when he comes back on screen and they make their money that way now. And it's sad. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
But the real nostalgia part, again, I don't like seeing the same movie made with other people. That pisses me off.
Gotcha.
But if it's the same people coming back, that nostalgia feeling is good enough for me.
Okay. I will see it because I think Coming to America is probably, well, I mean, just for the curiosity factor, it is one of my favorite comedies of all time. I mean, there's lines from that movie we all still say to this day.
Totally.
Randy Watson, Sexual Chocolates,
sure.
Soul Glow. I mean, there's so many fucking great lines in that.
Right.
And yes, I will be there. But when I saw it, I was like, oh no, I wish Eddie Murphy's so good that he doesn't need to do a sequel. I love Eddie Murphy, man. I can't really stress how much I love Eddie Murphy. He was probably my favorite comedian as a kid and had a big influence on my life as far as like doing characters and voices and all that shit. And his stand-up was the first like, oh my God, my parents didn't know that I saw Delirious, like everybody was talking about it. And I was a kid and popping it in and watching it. And I was like, oh my God, it's still amazing and blah, blah. That was it for me. That got me to stand up. Probably all of it.
Right.
I love Eddie Murphy. He is so good at drama and comedy, and he looks the same. He's still getting a million offers. So if you're at home saying to yourself, I don't understand why Eddie Murphy's working or he's washed up or whatever. No, it is the opposite. It is on purpose. He waits for the projects that he wants to do, and then he pops back out and does them.
Yeah.
He's still getting a million fucking offers a week because he's Eddie goddamn Murphy and he's still one of the best. So when I saw this Coming to America thing, I was like, all right, it would be, because it's been a long time since I want to say Dreamgirls.
Oh yeah.
When he lost the Oscar for Dreamgirls, he was like, fuck this, and
walked out. I'm out.
And walked out of the Oscars. You
guys don't know shit.
And I thought maybe he walked out of show business after that and just fuck you guys. That wasn't the case. So when this popped up, I was like, man, well, did he do anything else? And he did. So he actually just finished a movie with Craig Brewer, and it's about Dolomite, the making of Dolomite, and he's playing the actual guy who played Dolomite, and it's a big movie for Netflix.
Okay.
And when this script came around, and I guess it was to a point where they thought Eddie did, because Eddie Murphy spends years and years with scripts. That's something else that nobody really knows. Where like he'll spend years and years with it, and he's infamous around town for inviting people up to his house to physically work on scripts or workshop comedy, and you got to go to his house. And everybody says it's amazing, and you just hang in it. There's no paparazzi or anything. It's just like, hey man, and you're going, and when you go up there, like you're up there for like 4 or 5 hours, where it's just like, holy shit, I would kill to be invited up there. Obviously,
I mean, obviously,
yeah. And he's done it with Kevin Hart. He's done it with Chappelle, Chris Rock, all of the top guys in the game. today. He's had them up at one point or another. It's almost like he knows that he was the dude, him and Richard Pryor, where it was just like that turned everybody. And it was just like, you go up there and he'll talk about career, life, everything under the sun. And he's just trying to find the things. And they all say the same thing of like, God damn it, we're just trying to get Eddie back. Just get him out and make him do something. Well, now he's got 2 projects coming up. So I'm amped, that he's working again and that he'll be out. And I will see this movie. But the Dolomite one actually interests me more.
To me, that sounds better.
Yeah. So if it means that Eddie Murphy is out in public more, fuck it. I'm in because he's still one of my dudes, man.
Sure.
He's one of my dudes. That'll give us to the revolutionary figure of the day, shall we?
We shall.
This one's going to be obscure. No one will probably know who this is. But the Hollywood Reporter did an article on this woman named Pantera Sarah. She used to run the doors at every single cool bar nightclub in town in Los Angeles. It was always, the capacity of these things was always like 200 people, 150 people or whatever. Every night of the week, there was some place that was cool in town to go, and you could meet like the most famous people in the world or people who were up and coming. But you had to know them. And like, they didn't want a lot of agents and suits and things in there. So they were very picky about who they let in and why. And you felt lucky if you were the one that was picked and you got to go inside these places. Probably very reminiscent to old school Studio 54 days where, I mean, you show up at one of these places like Dublin's it was Tuesday nights on Dublin's. It was like the hot jam. And if you showed up there was three or 400 people waiting to get in outside. They couldn't get in. And they would just point to a few people of like, I know you, or I think yours could be something or whatever. And you felt lucky and privileged to be in this place at this time because you were seeing shit and meeting people that like you never got to see before. And I've told these stories for years to my friends, and those who had gotten to go along the way were like, dude, how fucking crazy was that? And I was like, because it was just as crazy as you think it was, but for a different reason. Cell phones did exist, but the camera feature didn't really exist. So nobody was taking pictures of anybody, of what was going on. So all of us, and I've told, a bunch of these stories on the podcast over the years, the Monica Lewinsky story and all of that shit happened because of her. And I was at these parties, McConaughey on acid playing pool. There were so many of these fucking stories, and I got to meet all of these people, and it was because of her. Well, it's a different time in Hollywood now. Everything is bought up. It's commercialized.
Yeah.
There isn't that type of shit anymore. Now these promoters and like it's a big company that runs it, and it's like, you have these people, and it's kind of bullshit. Like it's just bottle service and all that other stuff, right? Yeah. It wasn't like that back in the day, and there was no pictures of it. So we had no memories except for us that were there until this week. So I get on a plane, and right before it's about to take off, like I usually try to download a bunch of cool shit or whatever, which my computer was dead. So I was trying to download a bunch of articles so that I could read on the flight. And this article popped up in Hollywood Reporter that just said, here's what it was like, early 2000s in LA. And there was a woman named Pantera Sarah that was behind it all. Now, and she took pictures on a camera. She had like
an instant camera or something.
No, some of them, just whatever kind of camera was around at that time. Like it was a decent camera, but it wasn't like a big bulky.
Yeah.
It was just nice enough that you were able to take a nice clean picture. So because she was so guarded about celebrities and everything else, like she never bragged, told anybody who was there or why they were there or any of that shit. And that was kind of the mystery of it. Well, now she's out of that business because it's changed. And so for the first time ever, the article said she had taken over 20,000 pictures. And so they were like, she's chosen some to show to you now about what it was really like back in the day and why this mystery is now gone out of Hollywood and the way it's changed and all that stuff. And like, I got to see for the first time ever, pictures of all of these events and stories I've told over the years. And it was crazy to look at, because going back and looking at, all of it, like,
was it called like,
I was at, Clayton and I in particular, because we had teen movies hit at the same time, did all of this shit together, and we got to go and see all this stuff. But the pictures, when I saw them, where you were like, oh my God, I forgot about, like, so Jason Momoa was in one of these pictures. Young, fucking.
He had like short, spiky hair, like not anything like
crazy, and it was just like, why was he there? Well, it was Sarah's roommate at the time, and it was just like, now after these years,
was
he's
it
made
how social media ruined celebrities going
Correct.
out?
Yes.
I saw the headline of it. I didn't read it, but where I was
that
like,
was it.
Fuck, you're right, dude. Where it's like,
yes.
Shitty.
So all of these parties I was at, but I've never seen these pictures. And like, I would tell people of like, you don't understand. Like, Britney Spears was with Ryan Gosling and fucking Justin Timberlake at this party. And I didn't know the Mickey Mouse connection.
You just thought it was a weird, all of them hanging out.
Yes. But years later, obviously the stories are so public now, whatever. Like, so just to see these pictures where you were like, holy shit, that was the thing. And again, it was so small. There was like 100 to 200 people at any one of these given things. And you saw all these people. And the beauty of it was like, not all of us were massively famous. So like Gosling wasn't Gosling, but she thought he could be something. She thought I could be something, or Clayton could be something. And it was just like, it was mixed with celebrities and people that she thought could be something someday. And you got to mingle with them and hear their stories. And those stories, without a filter, without a microphone or a camera in their face or whatever, everybody's honest about what was going on in the business, or how to do X, or what these auditions were like with so-and-so casting director or screen test at this studio in particular, and how you got around certain things that, like, it was really helpful. I know everybody says, the term networking and schmoozing and all that other shit now, but like, that's what it was. And not only was it fun, but like, it was really, really helpful of how to get tips going forward, or what was going on at the time in the town and all that stuff. And it's not like that. And seeing all of these pictures, if you get a chance to read this article, like, it was the first time it was painted correctly, and it was what it was really like. And you get to see all these pictures of like Ashton Kutcher walking into a club with a Chicago Bears jersey on, where you're just like, oh, he's not dressed to the nines whatever. Like, you're rolling into a sports bar where it was converted to this exclusive party just for this one night.
Right.
You got to see Gosling and those guys. You got to see like old school Momoa pictures and all of these, Scarlett Johansson and stuff like that. Like, you got to see all of these people before they had made it, just right on the cusp. And there was no pressure. There was nobody there. You just,
they got wasted. They actually partied.
Had fun. And you didn't have to worry about any of that stupid
made
shit.
Out, hooked up in the bathroom.
Did whatever you wanted. And it was
going
a cool
on any
period. Yeah. And, reflecting on what it is like today. And I'm not at all one of those people who's just like, I'm not a nostalgic person, or, like, oh, it was better back in my day type of dude. I'm not at all, because it's different.
It's just different.
I read this article, walked out, and I get into the terminal, and there's a new trailer for that Captain Marvel movie. Mm-hmm. And I see this trailer, and it was right after I'd read this article, and it's Alison Brie. Mm-hmm. Is that her? That's her name, right? She won the Oscar.
Yes.
It is Annette Bening won the Oscar, and Jude Law. He's either won an Oscar or been nominated for a bunch of things. And they're in this comic book movie. And you're like, man, like Clive Owen was in one of those pictures, and you look back and you're like, man, that you cared about the movies. You wanted the cool projects and all of that stuff. Now you just want to get a Marvel franchise so you can be loaded, and then, I guess try to pop up in other things. It's what made me amp that the upside was also number one, where it's like, there is a shot to still do movies like this. It takes massively famous people to do it.
Yes, but it's possible.
It is possible. And if you all come together and do it, the fact that this got shit on is like, man, this was what it was back in the day. You dreamed of being in movies like this. Could you predict any of this stupid shit would happen today? No, not in 1 million years. And when I look back at all these pictures of how much it had changed, and I did an interview a couple weeks ago with somebody and they were like, man, do you wish you were doing more movies right now? And the answer is no. I wish I was doing more of my own, but they're really hard to get financed, and there is no more comedies whatsoever at all anymore. They're not making those at studios. So I don't know. But I told this interview that I love doing podcasts. I love doing podcasts with you and all of that stuff. So has things changed? Yes, but it's also changed too for the better as well, where I get to do a show like this and go out to 1.5 million people every day. But I will never get to go back to those parties again and just enjoy myself without something fucked up happening, you know?
Right. So, but none of those people will either.
I know.
Nobody can go to a party and just let loose.
I know.
Anymore. And that kind of, I was thinking about the same thing the other day where I'm like, oh, celebrities are all boring now. You know, the Oscars, you see the after parties, and it's like...
The Golden Globes. You brought this up, yeah.
It's like they're all boring. Nobody's drinking. They're like, because they need to get up there and either present or possibly win and do a speech. So no, you can't... There's no more sloppy Mickey Rourke, drunk, Jack Nicholson high. There's no more of that. Well, they'll probably still do it, but... The people coming up now, because there's always a camera somewhere. There is always somebody... And, you know, I've heard in interviews that it makes them more guarded.
It does.
And then it makes them more, just more boring, really. Unless they're at their house with their family, with their friends.
Yeah.
Out in the world, whether it's at a bar or at a freaking Arby's, like they have to be buttoned up and be perfect at all times. And that makes for a boring. That makes boring to me.
Yeah.
If you're not going to have a little... fun, let loose, be like a little bit drunk, whatever, and have that be like, that can't even be a headline,
right?
That you had a couple drinks at all because you've just lost jobs.
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day, that was like cool.
Yeah. So it was super fun to read that article and just go back and kind of relive all that shit where I was just like, oh man, I forgot, and I sent it to Clayton as soon as I got off the plane. I was like, hey, man, you're not going to believe this. And he was just like, holy shit, I can't believe those photos exist. Because I didn't remember, there was no, it wasn't intrusive at all. So it was just like, one person took a picture and that was it, you know? And didn't share it with the world for...
this many years? 15
years, 14 years, whatever it is. You were just like, holy shit. That was awesome. So to her, and look... I don't know if she listens to this podcast. I haven't seen her in 10 years at this point, 12 years or whatever it is. But I did write, we're still friends on Facebook, and I was attached to this article by like 3 other people who were just like, Ross, you're not going to believe this. And I did write her a thank you on it. I just said, you know what? I just want to thank you for some of the funnest times of my life. I didn't, you never realize it as you're going through it, obviously. No. But looking back on it, you do. And like, I try to reach out and write genuine messages to people who have affected me or influenced me and stuff like that. So Pantera Sarah, you were one of those people. And, it was fun. It was a lot of fucking fun. And it is made for great stories, endless stories. There is endless stories for podcasts for years and years and years. So thank you.
I love it.
Yeah. For Jessie Wiseman, a.k.a. The Jables, I am Ross Patterson. This is The Revolution. Good night, everyone.
Good night.